AI can help, in almost become a co-founder for you. Entrepreneurship have a different stages, right? So, all started with an idea, and then it goes through, market analysis, research, and all the way to defining, a product, value propositions, have all these different things, and the ultimate marketing and sale. In fact, all those things are require quite deep domain knowledge, and AI can become part of that, right? So, but for a we'll go back to the X plus AI, right? So obviously for a company, X is your business, right? It's your business. So whether you're in, or your job, right? But then what does X come from for a student? And in fact, I was truly inspired when I taught the summer class. So the summer class was about creating your own AI agents. So we went through what neural network is, and the prompt engineering technique. At the end, as a final project, the student have to learn how to create their own agents using GPT Builder. And out of this, there's 36 students for the class, and out of the student who did the final agent, and they have so many different ideas. And I kind of looked through all that, and a lot of it came from their interests. A lot of it come from interest. Obviously, there's a lot of game players, right? So they identify, because they have deep, as far as the students concerned, they have the deep domain knowledge on their interests. So there's, obviously, there's a student who played badminton. So he wants to kind of figure out, a lot of interesting badminton, but even, like, for example, where the different type of competition out there, how can he, if he's interested in getting promoted, right, to, ranking a different thing, how should you approach that, right? And I actually have another student, not within this program, who like to play tennis, and he figured out a way to be able to book a public tennis court in the easiest way, right? So a lot of it is driven by interest, or needs, right? So in fact, very interesting. There's, I think, either 5 or 6 students did a family travel planner or vacation planner. So kind of based on the obviously time and budgetary constraint, the interest, where they have gone before, what they like before, create a perfect vacation. So, interest or needs, that's where you kind of identify, find the X. And so again, in the US, in China, many parents talk to us, or organization, how, college application becoming more and more competitive. The getting a good grade as SAT, good grade at school, obviously that's very important. But that's, to the top Ivy League school, it become the kind of the entry ticket. So it's really school are looking for, they are looking for the next generation of student that they can help train, right, that can benefit the society. So they are looking for innovation, they are looking for initiative, they're looking for your ability to execute your idea. So this is just, I think I used this before as well. A couple of students I know, but I want to kind of, I brought that up again. I want to do a follow-up, right? So Kevin is one of the earliest students I have for USICO training. And he was able to progress quite well into the gold level. But when he's having that background, and this is pre-GPT, much harder for him, he was able to learn how to train himself a large language model, because he didn't have the nice thing about being with the pre-trained model, and he identified very interesting and quite niche application. He realized that Parkinson patient, by the time you go see a doctor, is already too late, right? So you already developed but you can actually identify, at least can see hints of it much early on from your visuals, when you talk, sometime when you walk, right? The gait. So he has an idea that maybe you can detect Parkinson, or at least you can detect the risk of Parkinson by looking at images or videos. So he took on that, very interesting X, right? Not very popular, just almost a cargo ship, right? But he actually was able to dig deep into it. And he did some on his own. He actually find internship, I think the last summer at Boston Hospital to go deeper. And I was, we got this very happy news from his dad that in April, I think it's April, May, before I went, that he got into both Stanford and MIT was quite impressive. And Lucas still, is a student, but what he did, right, with his work, he actually took an earlier version of the class with the prompt engineering and the GPT pre-training, and he told me that the law firm that he's worked for, actually allow their user to use what he did on their website, right? You're actually helping them to pick the name, so pick the name that can be easily trademarkable. So those are, very interesting. So many people may say, what can a 10th grade, 11th grade do? Well, they can do a lot, right? Obviously, it is driven by your passion, driven by obviously the know-how, right? So both of them has pretty good background. It turns out both of them started with me as a user code student. So final, right, before I'm taking a little too long, before I give you the little background of the class, if you have not heard this talk by Sam Altman, I encourage you to look it up. It's his Hawking Fellow talk at Cambridge University. And he gave, in the talk, he brought out 3 points. I think that's the key takeaway I want you to have. He said young people always the best adapting new technology. So if you're young today, you're lucky, right? You're about ready to arrive this whole AI age, but you need to learn to embrace technology. And he was asked a question that giving all this AI and all this thing, what can students learn in college? He said what he learned to learn, the meta skill learning. And then more importantly, he learned to discover. He learned to discover things. He learned to discover things that's not there to learn yet. It's all about how do you ask the right questions, right? And then take from the right question, how do you transform the question of the idea all the way into ultimately, right? So obviously, as a startup, your first product and be able to test it. You both for them. Second, the most important thing is by doing that is to help build this mindset again. So building a mindset is probably most important, right? And then as I say, byproduct is really learning how to use the large language model, not only just to solve problems, solving a problem like, how you, create a game server, but also as a co-founder, right, instead of co-pilot, to help you through this journey. So I think that's really the main focus of the class. So first, we do a quick review of the stuff we learned in the agent class. So if you already have some background in there, that's great. So it's really about formulating the problem, right? And that's the critical part of it. And then solving a problem, right? So in fact, you can use the GPT builder and create an agent. And then finally, I would like you to present your idea, which is a great way to kind of sum up this whole experience. And so there's 2 deliverables. One is, in fact, you can also use AI to help you with that, a short business plan that captures your startup idea. And then you can actually build an agent, right, using GPT builder as a prototype of your product.